You're going to die, not today, maybe not tomorrow. But when civilization collapses, and it will, you'll have about 72 hours before you become a statistic. The question isn't if the apocalypse will happen. The question is, when it arrives, will you be the corpse others step on or the person stepping on corpses? Oh, and if you think I'm being too dramatic, drop a like thanking me for preparing you while everyone else watches cat videos. Comment survived if you really think you have what it takes. And subscribe, because, spoiler, I'll develop later. The information I am giving you in Chapter 4 could be the difference between dying of thirst or discovering water where no one else looks. But before we get there, there's something I need to tell you about fire. Something you think you know, but you're completely wrong about. And it's going to kill you on day one. Let's begin. You think you understand water. You're wrong. In the apocalypse, water is the most treacherous resource that exists. Not because it's rare, although it is, but because it deceives you. You see a crystal clear river, drink from it, and 3 days later you're shitting your own entrails while delirious with fever. Congratulations, you just died of dysentery like it's 1840. What you really need to do. First, forget the romantic idea of natural water. Natural water is full of giardia, cryptosporidium, bacteria that will turn your intestine into a biological nuclear reactor. You need 3 methods, always 3. Physical filtration. Take a plastic bottle, cut off the bottom. Layers from bottom to top. Small pebbles 3 centimeters, fine sand 5 centimeters, crushed charcoal 3 centimeters. Cotton fabric on top, water passes through. But large parasites get trapped, looks like a funeral cake of sediments. Chemical purification, every drop needs the drops of bleach to 0.5% sodium hypochlorite. Stir. Wait 30 minutes, it'll taste like an abandoned pool, but you'll live. Boiling, 5 minutes at full boil. Not warmish, boiling, large bubbles, aggressive steam. Until then, you're just heating up your death. Real risk. Skipping boiling because you're in a hurry means that in 24 to 48 hours, you'll have explosive diarrhea, severe dehydration, without treatment. Your chance of survival drops 60%. In the post-apocalypse, cholera kills faster than bullets. Oh, and that technique for collecting dew that I'll teach you in step 3. It depends on you mastering this first. Otherwise, you'll just collect poison more efficiently. Impact phrase. The water you don't purify is just a slower way to drown. Fire is life. Fire is also death. The difference between the two is about 30 centimeters and a 15 kilometers per hour wind. You need fire to purify water, cook rotten protein you found, signal rescue, keep hypothermia away. But do it wrong and you become human barbecue or signal your location to others. And trust me, there are always others. And they're not friendly. But that's for later. What you really need to do, forget matches, forget lighters, in the apocalypse. You need guaranteed fire. 3 methods, always 3. Friction method. Bow and drill. Get a dry branch of soft wood. Cedar, willow, a bow made with rope or shoelace, a drill of hard wood. Carve a depression in a flat base. Place tinder dry shredded tree bark underneath. Friction with fast, firm movements. Looks like desperate sex between 2 trees, into the 3 minutes. You have ember. Blow carefully. Feed with thin twigs. Progression. Strata pencil twigs to wrist branches too. Arm size firewood. Focus lens solar. Anything convex works. Bottom of glass bottle. Eyeglass lens. Condom filled with water. Yes, seriously. Focus the sun on a 2 mm point over very dry tinder. In 30 seconds you have smoke. In 1 minute, fire. Only works during the day. Obviously. Battery and steel. Steel will plus 9 volts battery terminals. Touch the wires to the wool. Instant spark. Place the burning wool inside the tinder. Whoosh, light, heat, hope, real risk, making fire near flammable material, dry grass, leaves. Fuel means you become the idiot who died charred trying to warm up. Keep a 2-meter radius clean. Always. And smoke control. Essential, because smoke attracts attention, and attention attracts, well, you'll find out in step 5 what comes when you're found. Visual comparison. Fire is like toxic dating. You need it. But you must keep it under strict control or it destroys everything you love. Impact phrase. Fire has no loyalty. It saves you or kills you with the same indifference. You don't die of hunger. You die of cold. Hypothermia kills in 3 hours if you're wet and exposed. Not in 3 days. Not in 3 weeks. 3 hours. And you don't need to be in a Siberian blizzard. Temperature of 10 C with wind and rain is enough for your body to shut down like an old computer. Before continuing, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you're literally throwing away free survival information. It's like refusing a bulletproof vest in a shootout. Click the red button. You'll need what's coming in the next chapters, especially when I teach you to identify edible plants versus those that kill you in 20 minutes of intestinal agony. What you really need to do. You need 4 layers of protection: ground, walls, roof, thermal insulation, in that order. Location choice: 50 meters above water level floods, away from dead trees falling. Protected from prevailing wind direction, wind always blows. Near resources, but invisible from trails. If I can see you from afar, others can too, and trust me, you don't want to be seen. Basic structure: lean-to, find the trees to meters apart. Tie a strong branch horizontally between them, 1.5 meters high. Lean smaller branches at a 45 angle. Looks like a depressive skateboard ramp. Cover with layers of leaves, moss, branches with dense foliage. Each layer should be 15 centimeters. 3 layers, waterproof. Ground insulation. Never sleep directly on the ground. You lose 80% of body heat through conduction. Layer of 20 centimeters of dry leaves, thin branches, moss. Looks like a mattress made by paranoid squirrels. Thermal insulation. Fill your shelter with dry leaves. Bury yourself in them. You want to look like a human vegetation burrito. Ridiculous? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. Real risk. Sleeping without ground insulation means in the morning you wake up with mild hypothermia, uncontrollable tremors, mental confusion, failed motor coordination. By noon, you're delirious. By night, you're dead, and your perfect shelter body just becomes another tomb in the woods. Visual comparison: your shelter should be like a cocoon, ugly on the outside, but keeps you alive inside. And about that dew collection method I mentioned? Here it is: stretch fabric shirt, any cloth over low grass at nightfall. In the morning, wring it over a container. Can yield 50 to 200 milliliters of water. Pure. Clean. But remember, you still need to boil it. Step 1 isn't optional. Impact phrase: the apocalypse doesn't kill through lack of roof. It kills through lack of floor. You can survive 3 weeks without food, but you won't want to. Hunger isn't just stomach rumbling. It's muscle weakness, stupid decisions, zero immunity. You become prey, and in the post-apocalypse, prey dies fast. But here's the dirty secret: more people die from eating wrong than from not eating. Because desperate, you eat anything. And anything includes plants that shut down your kidneys or mushrooms that destroy your liver in 48 hours of agony. What you really need to do: safe food in the apocalypse follows a priority line: insects, known plants, small game, fresh water with fish, in that order: insects, crickets, grasshoppers, larvae, ants. Avoid red ones. Always cook. 10 crickets equal 1 protein portion, equivalent to 30 grams of chicken. Taste: irrelevant. Calories: essential. Remove wings, legs, boil 5 minutes. Looks like end of world rations. Because that's exactly what it is. Universal edible plant test: never eat an unknown plant directly. Never. Follow the protocol: rub on skin, inner wrist, wait 15 minutes, allergic reaction, discard. Touch to lips, wait 3 minutes, tingling, burning, discard. Chew a small piece, don't swallow. 15 minutes, extreme bitterness, discard. Swallow a small piece, wait 5 hours, nausea, vomiting, cramps. You're screwed, but you can still vomit. Discard. No symptoms, eat a small portion, wait 8 hours. Survived, congratulations. You found food. The process takes 14 hours. Seems insane, but you know what's more insane? Dying with your liver melting because you ate hemlock thinking it was parsley. Small game snare traps: rabbits, squirrels. Set wire or strong rope snares on small animal trails. 10 centimeters diameter loop, 10 centimeters from ground, tied to a tree or stake. Animal passes, head gets caught. Struggles, strangles. Efficiency: 30%. Cruelty: 100%. Survival: no room for ethical vegetarianism. Preservation: meat spoils in 4 to 6 hours without refrigeration. Cut into thin strips. Salt if you have salt. Hang near smoking fire, not too close. We don't want to grill. 12 to 24 hours of smoking equals meat that lasts 1 to 2 weeks. Real risk. Eating undercooked meat means parasites, trichinella, tapeworms, worms that install themselves in your intestine and eat you from the inside out. Always cook to 70 Celsius internal. No thermometer. Cook until there's no pink dot. None. Visual comparison: food in the apocalypse is like dating app relationships, full of red flags. You never know if it'll kill you, but sometimes you're too desperate to care. And that promise from the beginning. About water where no one looks. Succulent plants: cacti, agave store water. Cut, crush, drink the liquid. Or dig 50 centimeters near trees with deep roots. There's moisture there, but remember, purification, always. Impact phrase, in the apocalypse, hunger hurts, but food poisoning kills. You have water, fire, shelter, food. Now you have a target on your back. Because other humans will want what you have, and they won't ask politely, they'll simply take. Maybe leave you alive. Probably not, because in the apocalypse, morality is a luxury that died along with Netflix and food delivery. Before I teach you not to die murdered, if you're not subscribed yet, you're the type of person who shows up unarmed to a knife fight. Subscribe now. Next chapter has defense techniques that will make you look more threatening than you really are. And in the apocalypse, looking dangerous is half the battle. What you really need to do, security is layers, physical, psychological, territorial, defensive perimeter, round your camp, 20-meter radius. Set up primitive alarms, cans hanging on thin ropes stretched 15 centimeters from the ground. Dry twigs scattered, make noise when stepped on, thorns. Sharp branches pointing outward at 45 angle. You're not trying to prevent entry, you're trying to hear when someone tries to enter. Improvised weapons. You don't have a firearm, probably never will. So, spear, straight branch 1.5 to 2 meters, sharpened at 30 angle with stone or knife. Hardwood oak. Harden the tip in fire. Weighted club, short branch 60 centimeters. Fist-sized stone firmly tied at the end with rope. Fabric. Fast swing equals crack skull. Sling. Rectangular fabric 20 by 10 centimeters. Rope on each end. Smooth stone in center. Spin overhead. Release one rope. Range. 30 meters. Accuracy. Terrible. Intimidation. High. Confrontation psychology. If you encounter hostile humans, you have 3 options. Flee. Always preferable. Dead pride doesn't survive. Negotiate. Show you value alive skills. Information. Shareable resources, but never reveal everything you have. Fight. Last resort. Be brutal. Be fast. There's no judge to judge you. There's only you alive or you dead. Discretion. Best security is invisibility. Fire at night. Only enclosed shelter where light doesn't leak. Movement. Only at dawn. Dusk when visibility is low. Sounds. Absolute minimalism. Real risk. Trust is what kills you. That friendly group offering help could be real, or could be evaluating if you're worth more dead and looted. In the apocalypse, paranoia isn't mental illness, it's survival mechanism. Visual comparison. Security in the post-apocalypse is like chess with knives. Every wrong move is the last. And remember when I said smoke attracts attention, now you know who comes, so control your smoke. Well-dried wood equals less smoke. Small, hot fire equals more efficiency. Less signaling. You want to be a ghost. Ghosts don't die because no one finds them. Impact phrase. The deadliest threat in the apocalypse doesn't have fangs, poison, or claws. It has human intelligence and desperation. You've survived this far, but an infected cut will kill you slower and more painfully than a bullet. Gangrene, sepsis, fever that fries your brain, without antibiotics, without hospitals. A 2 centimeters wound can be a death sentence. What you really need to do, post-apocalypse first aid is about brutal prevention and aggressive treatment. Wound cleaning, boiled water plus salt if you have it. Irrigate the wound with pressure. Does it hurt? Great, means you're alive. Remove dirt, debris, fabric pieces, completely torn skin. Cut the dead edges with knife, sterilize and fire. Let it cool first. Looks like medieval torture. It is medieval torture, but it works. Wound closure, superficial, direct pressure. 10 minutes, stop bleeding, tight bandage. Deep, you need to close it. No needle and thread. Use plant thorns, acacia. Human hair is thread stronger than it seems, or army ants. Hold wound edges together. Let the ant bite through. Twist the ant's body off. Head stays attached like natural staple. Brutal, yes, effective. Ask indigenous civilizations that have done this for thousands of years. Infection prevention. Wash wounds to X daily. Cover with clean fabric, boiled. Change daily. Infection signs. Growing redness. Heat. Pus. Red streaks going up from wound lymphangitis. You have hours before sepsis. Treatment. Open the wound. Drain the pus. Irrigate with boiled water plus salt. Leave open to drain. Will hurt like hell. Has an address. Medicinal plants. Aloe vera. Internal gel for burns. Wounds. Direct application. Garlic. Natural antibiotic. Crush. Mix with water. Use as wound irrigation. Willow bark. Contains salicin, aspirin precursor. Chew for pain. Bitter as your situation. Sphagnum moss. Absorbent. Slightly antiseptic. Natural bandage. Fractures, immobilize, always, straight branches as splints. Tie with fabric, rope above and below fracture. Don't try to fix broken bones, you're not an orthopedist. Immobilize and pray it heals crooked but functional. Real risk, ignoring small wounds is like ignoring low fuel warning in the car. Seems small until you're stopped in the middle of nowhere except in the apocalypse. Stop means dead. Visual comparison, your body in the post-apocalypse is like an old car. Aggressive preventive maintenance or catastrophic failure, no middle ground. Impact phrase in the apocalypse. The difference between injury and funeral is just attention to detail. You have everything now: water, fire, shelter, food, security, navigation, first aid, and still, you can die, not from dehydration or hunger or wounds or hostile humans. You can die from giving up, because loneliness, stress, trauma, loss, they corrode your will to continue, and when you stop fighting, your body follows the order, what you really need to do. Psychological survival is as critical as physical, maybe more. Routine, mental chaos is defeated with structure, wake same time. Tasks in sequence, check perimeter, fetch water, collect firewood, search for food, shelter maintenance, purify water, prepare food. Sleep, every day, seems robotic, it's intentional. Routine creates illusion of normalcy. Maintain sanity. Small goals, don't think survive today, then get clean water. Then fix hole in shelter, fragmentation of impossible objectives into manageable pieces. It's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time. Communication even alone. Talk with yourself, with trees, with rocks. Human brain needs active language to maintain mental organization. Prolonged silence leads to disorganized thinking, confusion, eventual psychotic collapse. Will you look crazy talking to yourself? Yes, but crazy alive is better than sane and dead. Positive memories. Dedicate 10 minutes daily remembering good moments, specific ones. Coffee smell, laughter of someone you loved, feeling of sun without survival worry. Mental anchors that remind you why continuing matters. Pragmatic acceptance. You've lost everything, accept it. Lamenting the past consumes energy you need for the present. It's not insensitivity, it's brutal. Prioritization. Cry if you need to, then get up and continue. Collapse symptom identification. If you start feeling total apathy, impulsive and self-destructive decisions, conversation with people who don't exist, loss of time, sense more than 24 hours, disinterest in your own safety. You're in psychological collapse. Countermeasures. Intense physical movement, 100 squats, force routine. Micro objectives, count 100 stones. Aggressive mental reset. Real risk. Mental surrender usually happens between days 4 to 7 after trauma. That's when shock passes, reality sets in, brain processes that this is permanent. 30% of people who have technical survival skills die in this period, not from incapacity, from surrender. Visual comparison. Your mind in the apocalypse is like unstable software, needs constant rebooting or crashes and never turns on again. Impact phrase. You can have tools to survive in the external world, but if you don't have tools to survive inside your own head, none of this matters. So here we are. Water you purify 3 times. Fire you control with paranoia. Shelter that looks like giant bird nest. Food you test for 14 hours before trusting. Security built in perimeters and improvised weapons. First aid done with ants and thorns. Navigation by stars and shadows. Psychology maintained with obsessive routines and conversations. With rocks. Sounds crazy. It is, but it's functional crazy, and if you made it here. Read for 1,000 words about how not to die in increasingly creative ways. You have something most don't. Willingness to prepare for the worst, or at least morbid curiosity about survival methods. Both are valid. Those open loops I opened. About fire at the beginning that I said would kill you on day 1. It was about smoke control. About water where no one looks. Succulent plants and moisture near roots. About what comes when you're found. Other humans. Always other humans. You notice that each rule connects with the others? Because survival isn't a checklist. It's an integrated system where failure at one point creates domino effect. Contaminated water leads to disease, leads to weakness, leads to bad decisions, leads to death. Uncontrolled fire leads to smoke, leads to revealed location, leads to confrontation, leads to death. Inadequate shelter leads to hypothermia, leads to lethargy, leads to death. Poisoned food leads to organ failure, leads to death. Ignored security leads to ambush, leads to death. Untreated wounds leads to infection, leads to death. Failed navigation leads to exhaustion, leads to death. Collapsed psychology leads to surrender, leads to death. Everything connects. Everything matters. And the dirty truth no one wants to admit, even doing everything right, your chances are maybe 60 to 70%. Apocalypse isn't a fair game, doesn't reward effort proportionally. You can do everything perfect and die from bad luck, or do everything wrong and survive through idiotic luck. But I'd rather try with knowledge than die in ignorance, you too. Apparently, otherwise you wouldn't be here, so take these 8 rules, memorize, practice if you can, hope you never need them. And if the world collapses, when it collapses, you'll at least have a chance to be one of those who tells the story afterward, instead of being a story told by others. Good luck, you'll need it. Last phrase, the apocalypse doesn't ask if you're ready, it just reveals if you were.